Ladies and gentlemen, we are here this evening because of one great man, Brent Scowcroft, soldier, scholar, statesman. In my 5 years at the Atlantic Council, I have rarely been in a position that brings me so much pleasure as being MC for this evening. At the Atlantic Council, he has for over 30 years provided vision, energy, and direction as board member, chairman of the board, and now as chair of the Council's International Advisory Board. The new Brent Scowcroft Center on International Security at the Atlantic Council, to be inaugurated later next year, will embody the ethos and vision of Brent Scowcroft for generations to come. We are honored and humbled to be the custodians of this legacy.
If it weren't for what I call the old age issues, Barbara and I would be with you as the Atlantic Council honors our dear friend Brent Scowcroft.
Brent, it's been a privilege and an honor for us to call you friend all these years. Watching you and George work together has been one of the great pleasures of my life. Thank you for all you have done for us, for our country, and for our world. We love you.
Enjoy the night, my friend.
We are here to do two things. One, recognize his contributions to our country and to mankind. And two, to not just recognize those contributions, but thank him for those contributions. It's important that our next generation and the generation after that, as they look back in history and reflects on this time of great volatility, of great chaos, of great uncertainty, we are building this new world order. It is the Brent Scowcrofts we anchor back to help guide us through these heavy seas and these strong winds.
Ladies and gentlemen, I feel after 55 years exactly the same way about him as I did when I first met him. This is a great guy. This is a terrific guy. This is a born leader. This is a man with a sense of direction and purpose and decency. That was my feeling when I first met him at West Point. And this is the way I feel 55 years later.
I don't think it's an exaggeration tonight to say that 300 million of our fellow American citizens and billions of people around the globe tonight have greater prospects for their prosperity and their safety and their security because of this gentleman's life's work.
There is no one that is steadier in a crisis and more purposeful than Brent Scowcroft. President Truman once said, if you want a friend in Washington, get a dog. Those of us who've had the honor of working with Brent Scowcroft know that he is a reliable and permanent friend, and that his contribution to our society is not only his wisdom, but his extraordinary humanity.
What can I say about General Scowcroft? He's kind, loyal, brilliant. As I pored over all the articles and photos that we gathered, what touched me the most was perhaps Brent's incredible spirit and his unique ability to stay forever young. Brent, on behalf of the entire Atlantic Council family, I hope you know we think you're just too marvelous for words.
Too marvelous for words that say enough, tell enough. I mean, they just aren't swell enough. You're much too much.
You've heard and will hear many accolades for this man tonight, and they are all true. But I want to single out what I believe to be his greatest gift, and that's the gift of judgment. If you think back over the last 50 years of counsel that Brent has quietly offered every administration, you will realize that whether it was heated or not, it was wise. And thankfully for all of us here, far more often than not, it was heated. This gift of judgment and his strategic view of not only what is in the best interest of this country, but also what is the best interest of the world we live in, coupled with his quiet humility and unsurpassed capacity for kindness, is his greatness. And that's what we are celebrating tonight and hope to capture for future generations. Please raise a glass to Brent and the future.
It fell to Brent Scowcroft to define the role of National Security Advisor. He did it living the role under President Ford, writing, I think, the definitive statement of what a National Security Advisor should do. I want to thank you for your service, thank you for showing us the way, and thank you for being the extraordinary person that you are. God bless you.
You don't get out much, Brent, but I rise in gratitude for your inspiration and the model you are for all of us. But I have a letter to read, which I'll proceed to do now. Dear General Scowcroft, I think everyone here tonight will agree our nation needs more public servants like you. Like those presidents before me, my administration has benefited from your advice and counsel. Your legacy is a nation that is safer and stronger. For more than 60 years of service to our nation, including nearly 30 years in the uniform, please accept my thanks and the profound gratitude of the American people, President Barack Obama. To you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a privilege to join you to honor Lieutenant General Brent Scowcroft. He is a gentleman who has served this country with deep devotion and distinction in many roles over many years. And as a West Point graduate, I am very proud to say that no one better exemplifies the credo of the Academy, duty, honor, country, than Brent Scowcroft.
You know, you presided and helped orchestrate so many things that are of importance: the fall of the Soviet Union, putting the coalition together to win the Gulf War, and now you've advised 6 presidents. We love you, Brent. You're just the best American that we could ever have and call friend.
Brent does rest easy, and so he should, because he is by any measure the most respected, the most trusted, and I emphasize the third, the most revered advisor to presidents in modern history. And we all know that, and we appreciate that. I call him the honest broker. And so I'd like to ask you to join with me in a toast to the greatest honest broker, a man of impeccable integrity, whom we all love and honor here tonight in a most unusual way, Brent the Snoozer Scowcroft.
He has served in extraordinary capacities over many, many decades and advised us all in ways to do this in a much, much more informed way. We thank you, sir, and rise to toast you for your wisdom and humility. Thank you, sir.
When Virginia asked me to prepare a toast tonight, I anticipated that there would be multiple references to the Scowcroft Award and to Brent's propensity for nodding off. And after several arduous days of research, I unearthed a transcript of a conversation from November 1989 between then President-elect George H.W. Bush and Brent Scowcroft, President-elect Bush. Brent, I have a favor to ask of you. Brent Scowcroft. What is that, Mr. President-elect? President-elect Bush. I'd like you to return to government. Brent Scowcroft. Sir, that would be an honor. President-elect Bush. But there's a catch, Brent. I'd like you to come back and take your old job, that of National Security Advisor. Brent Scowcroft. Again, sir, it would be an honor to serve with you. President-elect Bush. I just want to be sure, though, Brent, that you're comfortable doing something you've already done. Are you sure you are up for this? Brent Scowcroft. Don't worry, sir. I can do it with my eyes closed.
A senior official at Treasury recently told me that he saw you in the Giant at Westbard this summer, and he said to his wife, "There is one of the most intelligent persons in America. Let's see which melon he picks." Brent, tonight, your office family, we're delighted to honor you and proud to say we love you.
Uncle Brent, you have so greatly influenced who I have become as a young woman in ways far beyond our mutual love of naps. Your honesty, integrity, and kindness are unparalleled. I am so proud of you. Congratulations to my amazing godfather, mentor, and friend.
I want to thank you for setting the standard, because you teach young people who watch you everywhere that kindness, decency, integrity, and humility are the key to success in this town and not the impediment to success. And so I say thank you for that, for setting the example. And I'd like, as the final toaster then today, to ask all the friends of Brent here to please join me in toasting and raising a glass to Brent Scowcroft, the soldier, the scholar, the statesman, and our mentor. Congratulations.
The Scowcroft Center will build on the Council's nonpartisan tradition and rich transatlantic heritage while bringing new global partners into our analysis and policy debate. In doing so, it will pay tribute to General Scowcroft's remarkable legacy of mentorship by serving as a beacon for the next generation of foreign policy leaders.
I am honored to introduce to you tonight a national treasure in the truest sense of the term, a patriot whose contribution to the security of our country and the advance of freedom is nothing short of historic. And I'm talking, of course, of Bob Gates, a man who has served 8 presidents at the highest levels and in the most challenging posts. I can't think of 2 better people for the nation to have in the cockpit with the president during such momentous times than Brent Scowcroft and Bob Gates.
Much has been said tonight about Brent's achievements and legacy. So I would just like to share a few personal reflections about the man I have treasured as a mentor, colleague, and friend for nearly 4 decades. Reflecting on all that Brent has accomplished and all the lives he has touched, a few things stand out about Brent Scowcroft. In a town of oversized egos and undersized backbones, Brent's low-key, self-effacing demeanor, his steadfast integrity and common decency, but also his resolve and his moral and political courage truly set him apart as an example to all who aspire to high levels of public life. Finally, I am also deeply concerned about the decline of views and values associated with Brent Scowcroft when it comes to how we govern and relate to one another here at home. Civility, mutual respect, putting country before self and country before party, listening to and learning from one another, not pretending to have all the answers, and not demonizing those with whom we differ. Fortunately, we don't need to look far for inspiration on how to act, how to work, how to live, and how best to serve the American people. We have the example of the extraordinary career, the brilliant mind, and the beautiful soul of the great man we honor tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Brent Scowcroft.
I am completely overwhelmed and humbled by this evening and what it represents. It's like a dream come true. I wish I could thank each and every one of you personally, not just for this evening and what it means to me, but for the enriching of my life. But in addition to a wealth of memories, this evening also faces strongly toward the future. I'm very excited about the Scowcroft Center, and I think it has been skillfully set up to offer fresh thinking about how we can foster new partnerships around the globe to address the challenges and opportunities of a rapidly changing international scene. I thank you all again for your support of this enterprise and what it and you all mean to me. My own feelings are captured perfectly by William Butler Yeats. Think where man's glory most begins and ends, and say, my glory was I had such friends. Thank you.
You're just too marvelous for words, like glorious, glamorous.
Brent is one of the few permanent pillars of American foreign policy. He's reliable, intelligent, thoughtful, and above all, a tremendous human being.
His legacy is important for future generations. That's what the Scowcroft Center is about, is to build around a life as exemplary as Brent Scowcroft's, to remind people that the good guys win, the honest guys win, the people who care about the future of the world do win. And that's what Brent Scowcroft's life has been about.
General Scowcroft is one of the pivotal figures in the development of how we think about national security. He reminds us that these are common problems that we have to be addressed in a bipartisan way, in a thoughtful way, and that what's good for the country is what comes first.
General Scowcroft's contribution is absolutely enormous. He is one of the great wise men of American foreign policy. He has presided over our national security interests during times of enormous transition.
He was showing that the national security apparatus can work, and can work productively and in multiple crises. And I think that's a very important legacy. And the tone that he set was very important in terms of just civility, which in this town at this time is a big deal.